Before I say anything in this video, I just want to let all you guys know this is completely spoiler free, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, feel free to watch this video. I'm not going to say anything even slightly spoilery. Everything that I say will be from the trailer, and I won't go further than that, so, you're safe here. And before I actually get into the review, I want to just kind of talk about my schedule real quick, because I talked about that yesterday in the Kanye video I put up. I kind of mentioned on my schedule, well, I updated it, so I'm going to run that off real quick. I'm going to rank every Spider-Man movie on December 24th, which is Friday. And then I might make a video for Christmas. And then I decided that I'm going to go see Matrix Resurrections in theater. So I'm going to do a quick review of that probably on the 26th, which is that Sunday after Christmas. And then on the 31st, New Year's Eve, I will be doing a Matrix ranked video, ranking all the Matrix movies. Then on January 7th, I'm going to do the 2021 albums ranked video, and then at the end of January, I'll do the 2021 movies ranked. So switch that around a little bit, push the albums video back and replace it with the Matrix. Hopefully you guys are cool with that. It sounded like a good idea to me, so that's what we're doing. And now let's talk about the movie. Spider-Man No Way Home was released in 2021 and directed by Jon Watts. And I really liked it, just like pretty much everybody else who has seen this movie. I don't think this is perfect. I don't think this is the best Spider-Man movie, but it's really enjoyable. It's really good. It's a really entertaining time, and I highly recommend that you go to the theater and check this out. Maybe also go check out like Nightmare Alley and West Side Story because apparently those are like the biggest bombs of 2021 right now, and that's really sad because they both look really good, and I'm hoping I can go see them. But yeah, go give them support also while you're out supporting Spider-Man because Spider-Man doesn't really need the support at this point. So help out the other movies, please. Now let's start talking about this movie. Let's start off like I always do with the good. I think the biggest thing that I was worried about was the fan service in this movie, but it does it really good in a really non-annoying way. It all feels extremely natural in here. A lot of things happen in this movie. It is an absolute crowd pleaser, and again, I'm not going to say any of it, but it's more than what you'll be expecting. There's a lot more here. Even if you've seen leaks and stuff, there is more that you're not gonna expect that comes up here, and it's really exciting to see. It's really fun, and it's done in a really good way. It's very well handled. I also really appreciate how it really isn't afraid to punch you in the gut and get really emotional with it. This movie gets pretty dark sometimes, and I was not expecting that in the slightest. I think that that's one of the biggest strengths of this movie is that it really isn't afraid to go there. And because of that, it feels much more high stakes than the other two movies in the trilogy, which I appreciate a ton because it was nice to have those more low stakes, lighthearted movies. But, I kind of have wanted Tom Holland Spider-Man to do more in his own solo movie. And now we have that, which is really nice. This kind of ties into what I said a minute ago, but the villains all fit in here really well. Now, they're all in the trailer, Green Goblin and Doc Ock and Electro, Sandman, Lizard, all those guys are in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything for anyone. They fit them in really well, I feel like. I think they incorporate most of them pretty well. It's mostly focused on Electro, Doc Ock, and Green Goblin. They don't really do much with Sandman and Lizard. They're just kind of along for the ride, but that's okay. It was fun to see them anyway. I don't really care. The performances were all really great from everyone, which is kind of to be expected, but especially Tom Holland. Tom Holland really killed it in this movie, and I think he's really starting to prove between this and Cherry and The Devil All the Time, he's really starting to prove that he, in terms of pure acting, I'm not talking about the quality of these movies, I'm just talking about in terms of pure acting talent, that he really has it. He really has a really strong ability to act, which is really nice to see. And finally, this just has an absolutely perfect ending that wraps everything up extremely nicely and leaves Peter in an extremely interesting place, in maybe the most interesting place that a Spider-Man movie has ever left him off at. And I just can't wait for it to be explored more. Again, no spoilers, but man, it's a really surprising ending that I wasn't expecting at all. And I know everyone has been saying this in like all the reviews I've watched, but Peter really does turn into a true version of Spider-Man in this movie. He turns into Spider-Man, and that didn't make sense to me at all before I saw the movie. But then after the ending happened, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That he wasn't Spider-Man before. He is now, which is really interesting because I had no idea what they were talking about. So you're just gonna have to see the movie to understand. Now let's get into the bad because believe it or not, there are some things here. This is not a perfect movie at all, in my opinion. I think there are some things to criticize, so we're gonna do that. One of the biggest things for me was the tone. I think, like I said earlier, I loved that the movie was emotional and really punched you in the gut with things and didn't hold back in terms of that. But at the same time, I don't think it all meshed well with the comedic tone that was going on. I don't think there were some scenes that just felt completely ruined by jokes, and that drives me insane. That's what I hate about the MCU, and that happened a couple times in this movie. It wasn't a horrible deal, but I don't know. I would prefer it not to happen at all, which, it's probably never gonna happen. It's an MCU movie, I know, but it's just annoying. Another thing that's really hard to explain, I can't get into spoilers again, so it's really hard to talk about this movie, but there's just something off about Doctor Strange in this movie. I don't think he's acting right. I don't like him in this movie. Maybe until the end. I think the end he gets better, but the beginning of this movie, it's I he's really strange, and I don't know why. He's making weird decisions that he probably shouldn't be making, and it's really strange. I don't like it all that much. And there are some serious inconsistencies in the first half of the story. I can't say anything. I literally can't say a single thing. But there are some things that just really don't add up, that don't make any sense, that I noticed and I pointed out instantly, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? That doesn't make any sense with everything else that's happening in context. And they're not big things, they're really small things. Like, they're pretty nitpicky, but still, I noticed them. They're there. And finally, the other biggest problem with this movie, along with tone, is that the first half of this movie can really feel like it drags, and the story just stays in one place for way too long. If you've seen the movie, you might know what I'm talking about. It's like around the start of the second act. Um, they go on some quest, and it is fun for a little bit, but I think it goes on way too long, and I don't know, it just doesn't get to that insane second half that was so great. The second half of this movie is literally perfect, but I don't know. I think the build up to it could have been so much better. And so yeah, with all that in mind, I'm gonna give Spider-Man No Way Home an 8 out of 10. Now some of you might be mad at that, but keep in mind that an 8 out of 10 is a fantastic review, okay? An 8 out of 10 is great. I gave Dune an 8 out of 10. I absolutely love Dune, okay? So calm down. I think like a 7 in my head with how I scored things. A 7 out of 10 is where, like, a movie was good and I liked it, and I liked it a lot. But I didn't really love it. And then an 8 out of 10 is when I loved the movie. So yeah, No Way Home. It's fantastic, and I was really worried that it wouldn't be fantastic because I saw a clip that they released of the Doc Ock fight on the bridge, and that's not a spoiler. It's in the trailers, and man, it looked horrible. It looked absolutely abysmal, but it was because they're cutting stuff out for spoilers. So it played a lot better in the movie than it did online. It looked horrible, but it really turned out really well, and I'm very happy. It's easily the best of this new trilogy. So yeah, that's about it. Keep in mind that on Friday I'll be ranking every Spider-Man movie from Sam Raimi's original to No Way Home, including Into the Spider-Verse. So stay tuned for that. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see all of you guys in the next one.